Hello, chat. Today, the model stays off because we're playing one of those dating sims, and I think it's important for you to look at her and not look at me. Right? Do it for her. Don't do it for me. Welcome to today's stream. One, sorry about the lateness. My food took a while to make. I say, despite having only made a peanut butter bagel. No, okay, fine, it's coming on. Okay, fine, this is good because I have a bunch of things to tell you about, actually. Good news, maybe happy news, maybe sad news. It all depends. If you can prove that I never touched my balls. Just give me a second. That's enough. Anyways, while I start this up. Yeah, sorry about that. Breakfast took a while to do. Did I get a job? No. That's a sad news. But also happy news because I didn't get a job, right? It's like, you know what I mean? Double whammy. It's like, oh yeah, he did get a job, but also, oh yeah, he didn't get a job. At some point, the stream will end because I no longer have a home. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have a lot of money, so don't actually just, that's just a joke. Don't give me money. I'm fine, okay? I'm serious when I said that I made six figures, okay? I was good with my money. There's a lot to sit there and just wait on. So I basically don't need one. I just want one because it's good to have as a consistent steady stream of money. Mogul stick. Okay, well, I'm not a mogul. I'm very lucky. That's different from being a mogul, right? We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But I have some other good news. One, you may know some new features. Okay, this is a little. I'm trying this out because I didn't want to program like a whole media console for stream management stuff. Because as you may have noticed, it's kind of annoying to get everything set up when you have a million different steps to to go through. I'm a big believer in good onboarding flows. It's why I made so much money. Good onboarding flows matter for everything, not just in terms of businesses and products that you sell, but also in terms of interactions that you build for yourself, for managing your daily life. If your daily onboarding flow is wake up and it isn't and it's not just start streaming, it's also find the message to pin inside the YouTube chat to tell them not to be little shits, or it's like opening up Spotify and setting up this like Spotify widget to pull data from it, all this other stuff. That's a whole different issue, right? Thankfully, though, this is all going to get easier because as if this test works out well, we might be able to use this. However, I'm already realizing that there's too many steps, so we're going to have a programming stream very soon. This is good news for like two of you, bad news for the rest of you, okay? Other thing is that at some point, we will be going through a rebrand. I don't know when, but at some point it's going to happen. So this is good practice because during that rebrand, I mean, if I rebrand and I have all that like extra time and space with that character, I might as well use it, right? So we are gonna, it's fair that I should play games with the model always on because it's not like I can hide it at though I will hide it for cutscenes still. I absolutely refuse to ruin cutscenes. Okay, I know some people hate cutscenes, and I skip cutscenes sometimes too if they're really bad, or like you can tell. Okay, you ever play those old games? Like, okay, same year. Okay, when did Diablo 2 release? Right, 2000s, right? What games released in 2000? Okay. Do you think the operative "No One Lives Forever" has good cutscenes, or do you think, damn, this was a stacked year. Holy shit! Do you think Ready 2 Rumble Boxing Round 2 has good cutscenes? No, I'm gonna skip that shit. But for other things like Medieval, I remember Medieval. I could never finish that game as a kid. Deus Ex, Final Fantasy 9. Holy shit, Final Fantasy 9. The Sims. Wait, The Sims came out in 2000? Damn. That was when life got better, actually. You will always be very sticky in my heart. Okay, well, that's... keep it to yourself, chat. But yeah, it will happen eventually. So it's good practice. On to other things, though. Today's a good day because I have some interesting news to show you all. Very interesting news. I've talked about this for a long time because I was like, man, I really hope that I get a key, okay? Like, it'd be so nice to get a key and shit. Look at this! Okay, bring this down. Okay, shit, sorry. This is what I mean by, like, there's too much stuff on my stream management stuff. I need a better way to simplify this down to one or two applications. And I will go through the trouble of programming my own thing because it's just too much shit. Where is it? Where's the window capture? Oh, God, there's too many different things. Oh, God. Look at this. This is the Sandbox website. If you don't remember Sandbox, it's this thing I showed you. It's effectively the source engine turned into a full-on scene. Well, it's a source engine, but equipped with a scene editor with hot reload. The source engine holds a very special place in my heart because that's where I made most of my mods. The majority of my mod development was on the source engine. So, if you find some old forum that's probably dead, actually, I know most of them are like dead because I didn't find out about MonDB until after I was fully done my like stuff. Especially if you're in like random guild forums. But there used to be this one guild forum. I can't talk about it because it'll dox me because there was only six people in this clan, and it was a Counter Strike source clan, and I made a bunch of mods for this stuff. Anyways, if you've ever played with the source engine, you know how painful it is to work with certain things. It has probably one of the best level editors in the industry. I think the level editor Hammer is still the best level editor in the entire industry. The problem is when you want to do the code interaction with your level editing, right? It's annoying. You have to jump to a whole different space to do your code editing, which is you have to go into your IDE, program in C with the entity model, which isn't always very easy to think about either because the entity model, it's hard to wrap your head around compared to like a scene model. A scene model is where you have like a roots of your scene and you decide what's a parent, what's a child, and you attach components specifically to these things in this scene over here. This is a much easier model for most people to understand because it's very, very in line with how we see the world, right? The way that we see the world is through objects. It's why object-oriented programming is so powerful. It's a great modeling tool for problems in a very human language. The world is made up of objects. We perceive things in objects. Those who believe in math, you're wrong. Everything starts with the cube. It's why the arts will always be the highest form of science. Hey, chat. You almost got me. You almost got me. Hey, chat. We're going over some really cool stuff today, which actually all of you might like. So if you can, get this, try it out, okay? It also includes a very easy way to share your creations because the way that this works is you don't package the game with the engine like you usually would. For a mod, for instance, it was a whole like mess. You had to have the assets from the game, so you had to own the game. Or if you didn't need the assets from the game, if you did like a total conversion of the engine, because you still had to package the engine on some level with it, and you still had to distribute it on a third party because it couldn't go through Steam. However, Sandbox has decided to make their own space where you can share it. It used to be asset.party, and then I think they realized having two different sites doesn't make any sense. So, also comes in with built-in, I guess, simple abstractions for various complex topics like multiplayer or cloud assets or something. Like it's actually good, and you still have the Hammer editor for when you still want to make interesting levels very easily. And honestly, this is one of the best level editors out there. It feels like a tile-based editor, but it's not tile-based. It's like every single piece that you have is so flexible in that level. Cube supremacy, numbers in shambles. Exactly, Chad. So this is a great system. It also adds a visual scripting system, which is very nice. I think it also adds like an inline scripting system as well. So there's no need for you to jump to your code editor. There's actually no need for you to like deal with code. But cube is just a mathematical function if you think about it. You're wrong! See, this is the problem with math people, right? They think that math is the underlying pin to everything. Like everything stems from math. No! Everything contains math. Though you can model a cube with a mathematical function, you don't need math to make a cube out of a rock. The pyramids were built long before mathematics was ever invented, chat. All they needed was a fulcrum. I actually have no clue if that's true. I'm pretty sure that's demonstrably false. I think we have like a stone tablet showing math being invented before the pyramids. Because we're closer to the pyramids than we are to like dinosaurs or like something. Anyways, it's a great engine. Hi, chat. Hey, all of you here. This is good because you can now get the engine for yourself because there's a game jam going on. 30 days. And it's going to be a very interesting game jam because I'm very curious to see how this goes. You can get Sandbox by going to this link. I'm going to link it inside chat. Okay? Please, for the love of God, don't be an asshole. Don't be like, oh yeah, Stick sent me. Oh yeah. Be chill about this, all right? This is a game engine. It's not The problem with this that I see right now is that, and you see this in the way that people comment about it. People believe that this is going to be the Gary's mod too. It's going to be Gary's mod too eventually, but what it is right now is the core game engine with all the tools around it, right? It doesn't have that sandbox mode yet that Gary's mod had. It really, what they're focusing on is the game that is the separate tool portion of Gary's mod first before they deal with the sandbox mode that Gary's mod is well known for. Basically, they give you the tools to make trouble in Terrorist Town before they have that sandbox level where you sit in like a single place and there's like a weird building and some weird, I don't know, like horror stuff. The fuck is stick? Exactly. That's what you need to have, okay? If I get enough time today after we stream, we're gonna open this up and try it out. Because again, I'm gonna stream for you for a very long time. Other good news, my friend Remus Sweet Destination, Sweet Defecation, sensory deprivation. You remember my friend? Yes, sensory deprivation. We're gonna play Lethal Company Tuesday. Hello, sex? No sex, only dating. We're only dating today. Okay, we're only dating. In another FMV dating game. In fact, I'm gonna go into why today is gonna be fun. Today's FMV dating game is in 4K. It's so massive. I'm not even kidding you. The 4K video DLC, I had to go into the Microsoft Store to buy the extension to play high quality 4K videos. Because Windows by default doesn't let you play like a certain format, HEVC. So I had to go and buy this extension for like $1.29. Then I had to download 150 gigabytes to see this in 4K, 60 FPS, uninterrupted FMV dating sim. Ugh, chat. I had to delete Path of Exile and I just installed it. Speaking of Path of Exile, actually, Path of Exile was a very interesting game. I tried it, and I really like the new additions. I think the new additions to the game are very, very good. I think they've really nailed what makes having a boat so fun, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it, but they really, really make it interesting to manage your own town and have like a community that can sail out and give resources. It's a great idle game to play while you're playing Path of Exile. Basically, that's what Settlers of Calgar are. It is. However, it's still the same game unless you go for the Gladiator Retaliation build. The only difference is that if you needed banners or something, that's changed completely. If you want more of an active player. If you did like a passive, say, Summoner build that didn't really use the active portion of banners, your like minion build is like different. But besides minions and the specializations that they added, there's no difference now in like how you play the game. So if you play the game last season, you play the game this season, except there's a new idle game to go with it. So me, one VLC player, which is fine. It's just the reality of it is that you're going to be playing something that. It's just the same game over and over and over. I also want to, really, really emphasize here what I've created. There's a word game that I found. Okay, the word game is this: you need to figure out what beats the last thing you entered. Okay, so what beats rock? All right, I think it was paper. And then you go come. All right. Then you go, okay, what beats come? What did it used to become? Well, condom beats come. And then I was like, scissors beats condom. And then I was like, okay, what beats a scissor, right? Because you have to figure out what a gorilla beats a scissor. Tarzan beats a gorilla. And what beats Tarzan? Capitalism. I am the first person to find it. And I'm also the only other person to draw that connection. Does nobody think about this? This is the whole plot of the movie. Nobody's used a gorilla to break things. I feel like that's so simple. I don't know. To me, it's very simple. But anyways, it's a fun little game. Probably AI slop. But hey, I posted inside the Discord if you want to play it. Somewhere in there. Be sure to play it yourself. I wanted to play it today, but since we have a pretty stacked day, I'm going to leave the DLEs, like the Wordle type games, to some other day. So also, one of my chat members made one as well. So we're going to play theirs on that day as well. So we'll do like a DLE day, okay? There's Myrtle, there's this, there's whatever the chat member made with the car. There's a bunch of other ones that I found as well. There's one with Pokemon. There's one with We're not doing anything that deals with pop culture. If we do movie, I'm going to bomb. If we do music, I'm going to bomb. I don't even know the names of the people who make the music that I enjoy the most. I just listen to it and it sounds good, and I don't care about them. I try very hard to do those music recaps. Okay, it takes a lot of effort. But yeah, go ahead, check out check out Sandbox, because we'll be checking this out on stream. Okay, in a weird way, this has motivated me to bring back the programming segments. Not that they were gone. The programming segments were always here. Okay, programming is gonna happen. It was always gonna be here. Okay, but this is like, wow, like I've been waiting for this for a while. Let's check this out. Let's see if I can make something interesting based on these ideas. The only thing that's interesting is that for this game jam, there's no theme. There's like zero theme about what this is supposed to be like. So I think any theme that you want, they're being very freeform about the theme, because you have 30 days too. So we can actually go through like a pretty decent process. And I have a lot more time, so we can do a bit more things for the next like month or so. Always here, copium. It'll happen, okay? I have decided on this. This is the flow for programming, okay? This is the flow. Hold me back. This is the flow. Give me the mic. Listen to me. Let me go. Also, do you ever posted that like rhyming thing? Yeah, rhyming is like hard. Something doesn't rhyme with less, and I was like, yeah, so true, King and Queen, so true. Anyways, this is the programming schedule, okay? This is the schedule. Shit, it's blue. This is the programming schedule. Well, is that too large? No, it's good. God, stop! Close that window. Close that window too. God, amateurs. Okay, this is the programming schedule. Okay, programming schedule, or rather, programming tasks that I want to get done, because we're now coming up on time. You know, July is the 7th month of the year, and July is almost over. And then it's gonna be August, and then we're on to the 8th month, and we have 4 months until snowfall hits. Okay, programming order. This is the order. Order of programmers. You know, there's an official order of programmers where you live, probably. The one where I live is not that great, but the one where you might live is probably a lot better. I know in the UK you have like a really good one. I know in the US you have like some smaller ones, various chapters in like smaller places. It's weird because you pay money for access to resources that are available online, and I don't know why you ever would. But if you want a title, it sounds cool. Anyways, what we're going to be doing is this, okay? Stick space is now kind of going down a bit. So just know that stick space will have to be on hold, because we need to do this. One, I'm sick and tired of managing all these things for my stream, okay? We're going to build a stream management console together, and we're going to go through the trouble of figuring out how to make this work. Stream management console. Because right now, I'm not kidding you, for that little music tracker that shows you the name of the music as well as where it's from, you can see some problems. One, it gets cut off on the side, so you don't even get to see the name of the artist. Two, it doesn't have the name of the artist. It doesn't pull all the metadata, and I don't know why. That's because I'm using Spotify with the local player, which has the feature that I want, where you can set the crossfade to some, fractional percentage, and it'll basically smoothly transition between songs, right? And that's fine. Problem is that it's still a crossfade workaround, and to make this happen, I need Spotify open plus 2 other windows that connects to the Spotify API, which I had to make a new account for. So it's all a mess. Like, it's all a giant mess. When I just want to I could just use the browser's built-in capabilities to play the music within a source, and then just have a browser source of some kind, which would be great. You may also notice that the volume normalization is very, very painful still. Again, what I said was, I don't want to compress it. I want to normalize them all to the same volume peaks without compressing it to lower the range. So you get this like issue where it's like, oh, it's like annoying. You gotta, okay, we are not doing the rapping again. Also, for me to start these streams, because I schedule the streams also on YouTube. I'm sorry about I know the Twitch schedule it's a mess. I know it's a mess. I'll fix it eventually. But I also scheduled the same stream schedule on YouTube as well. So people have like a waiting room that they can see and know when it goes like live. I don't know how it does for notifications though, so let's see. But people usually drop in around like 1 or 2 hours in, so it's fine. But it's very handy to have. Problem is, when you do that, you need to go live manually. So this will solve the go live. So this will solve the multi-stream. Well, I've already detailed all of that. It'll solve all of those like problems, right? Solve the multi-stream. It'll solve updating information on both sides about what we're doing and when. Especially when we update game info. Right now, I only update it on like Twitch. So if you're watching on YouTube, you have no clue what the category is, which is frustrating. If I could do it on both sides, it'd be very very easy. Well, we're gonna build stick space very quickly. We're just gonna do a very quick mock-up of what stick space is. This will have basically no features except for the registration and whatever couple of roles there are. Actual MF Doom line. Okay, no, Chad, don't give them too much credit. All right, don't give them too much credit. So we're gonna do stick space. Yes, it's gonna be limited to like a handful of roles. Okay, whatever roles we have, and I'll trim the list down to make it simple. Okay, it'll have register, unregistered. That's it. We're then gonna use the sandbox thing because the game jam is. How do you make the S? How do you do that S? Son of a bitch! It's not the S. It's that and symbol. Uh, people back then used to use this. People back then used to use this unironically, by hand. Uh, Sandbox. There we go. Is that good or is that good? Does that look good? I don't know anymore. Anyways, we're gonna be doing some sandbox stuff. We're gonna just make something for the game jam, okay? Because why not? I think it's fun to check out the tool, and I've wanted to check out this tool for a long time. So that's a shift here, okay? I'm hoping that we're gonna come out with something that we can use for Christmas, because my goal was to make something for Christmas. If not, though, we will then move on to making something for Christmas. So this is the Christmas game. This is the one that I really want to make because I think it'd be fun for all of us, okay? Because this is going to be a community game that anybody can join. So you can share this wherever you want, and we'll be building things together in a very limited space that's only open for like one or 2 weeks, the whole 2 weeks of like Christmas. What else is there? Then we'll finish off the rest of Stick Space. So what is that? Is that Carafa? Is that Parappa the Rapper? Why is that an emote? You guys ever seen that like clip of Parappa the Rapper? My penis. I want you all to look at this, okay? This is peak Parappa the Rapper. There's also the Batman one. The Batman one is also good. Parappa, Batman, parents die. Oh! I love that. It gets me every time. It's when he goes, oh! It's like, oh, I should have said that. Anyways, yeah. We're gonna do the rest of Stick Space afterwards, okay? The rest of Stick Space. Now, you may notice a problem, okay? What do you see as the problem here? What do you see as the problem here? There's a very important problem here. And this is what happens when you develop projects. This is what happens when you don't have a project manager and you're not good at the project management side of things. So, okay? Think about this. Plan this out. You really think about this and plan this out. One problem in the bottom right corner. What? What, the 12,000 characters? Oh, you mean me? Oh. Mods ban them. The thing that's the problem is this. Game Jam is a whole month, okay? So all of July. Which means this entire month, well, all of August, technically, because it just started today. All of August, right? So the entire thing is going to be done over the entire... August is Sandbox Day, okay? Which means we need to get this done before August. How many days left until August, okay? Just a simple math question. You guess that he'll forget about the game jam. No, it's going to happen, Chad. It's going to happen. We're going to try to make something interesting because this is the one tool that I've been very interested in. Again, I think the Source engine is a really good engine, okay? And Sandbox is made with Source 2, which presumably is from the fork of Half-Life Alyx. So this is the same engine as like Half-Life Alyx, just without the latest improvements. And I know internally Valve is still trying to figure out how to like release Source 2. I know there's a whole like thing about it. It's why this engine supports VR, because this is a Half-Life Alyx engine. This is why I'm so excited for it. It's the first time that we have actual development tools built into the engine that we can use that isn't just open up your code editor and pull up Hammer. It's great. So all of August, we have I can't count 4 days, 4 days for these two, because right August is in 4 days. We have 4 days. Okay, guess what's happening Tuesday? Tuesday, I'm playing a game with my IRL friend on stream. Sweet defecation. Okay, so that's 1 day gone. So really, this is actually 3 days that we need to do the stream management console as well as stick space. However, you may also notice another problem with me. I don't want to say that I'm ADHD. Let's say I'm discursive. I'm discursive, which means every day is a new day, right? And think about this. Did you even know that we're going to be playing a dating sim today? No, you had no clue. I just dropped this on you like a massive poopy. Like, it's great. Out of nowhere. I enjoy the spontaneity of my streams, right? And I'll get into that in a moment about why I'm so like careful about doing certain things with my stream and careful about interacting with people in like certain ways and making sure to scare off people who are trying to break this like vibe. Me, when Stick drops things like a massive poopy, cat heart eyes emoji. Oh, the Veather streamer. Don't you dare call her the Veather. She's the worst streamer. Chat, you don't understand. She was like, I can't hear anything. How come I can't hear anything? And then she was like, oh, I just had to turn on my like headphones. I'm like, there's no way. How do you go through life? You know she's allowed to drive on the roads to work? I'm surprised that she hasn't killed someone yet. I'm just kidding, by the way. She's my real life friend, and we have that kind of, friendship. I'm allowed to say these things about her. You're not allowed to say these things about her, okay? You're allowed to say that she's the better streamer. I'm allowed to say that you're wrong because I know the truth. Anyways, now you see the problem, right? So all of August for this game. Then when is Christmas? Okay, let's say August is done and we're into September. All right, we're in September. How many months until December, like Christmas time? Well, then we have 3 months. So if I can make it as part of the game jam, great. If I can't, 3 months. You can relate to the headphones thing though. No, no, say it ain't so. Okay, maybe I'll take it back just because I don't want to flame my chat, right? I think my chat is good. I'll flame you guys when you deserve it. I just want to flame her specifically because it's funny, because she's my friend. Which means, look, we have 3 months to make a Christmas game, a multiplayer Christmas game that hopefully doesn't have like full on, instances, because I hate instances. I'm hoping to do this in a way where we won't need instances. Then we need to figure out how to do the rest of stick space. Do you see the problem? We have 5 months to do everything. 5 months total. 5 months. 3 or 33? 3. We 3. Oh wait, sorry, yeah. How do you do that little? Okay, well, like these two. There we go. Just like that. There you go. So these two things, the Christmas game, whether or not we do it as part of Sandbox or this, it needs to be done at least by 3 months. In total, we have 5 months worth of work. Actually, I should do it for this one too. So this should be these two for 3 days. Okay, that's a lot to do. This is why. And the problem is that, have you seen my games list? Here. Welcome to my games list. I finally entered all of it. Guess how many entries? Each page has 200 games. There are 3 pages. Guess how many games we have to play? Obviously, this includes the games we finished, but if you consider that we've only finished maybe 7 games, we're kind of a long way from getting things done, yeah? There's a lot of really cool experiences coming out that I really, really want to check out. Problem is, you got all of this, right? Not stream safe. What the? You can fit people into your balls. What does that mean? I don't know why I wrote that. I don't know why I wrote that. Look, all I'm saying is it's gonna be really rough. All right. So this month's stream schedule will be weird too. Also because this is a good month though, well also bad because a my wife is very busy. Actually, funny story. I forgot to tell you guys. Update. My wife is currently taking care of her nieces and her nephew because my brother-in-law has pushed them to us because he wanted them to get out more, but they work more than we do. So now my wife is dealing with all that with my mother-in-law. So everyone say thank you, wife, and please wish her luck. She has a lot of babysitting, so I do. She doesn't want to do it. She's very socially drained, so she won't like. I won't be spending much time with her. So there'll be very little days where we actually have like a day off. I'll pretty much be going the entire time. I have videos that I want to make, but I have segments that I want to do as part of these streams. So I'm gonna forego the videos that I want to make at least for the next month because I just want to get all this stuff done because it's so like fun. This is fun to me, but like the videos are fun too. But I think this is more important for my fun, right? And I'll get to why the fun is more important. And a cute story: when my wife came from the barbecue and was driving by, because she has to pass by my place. Well, she happened to be close to me when she was going home. Missy was inside the like, car because she usually never comes with us, but like this time she decided to bring her because the whole family was like going out. So Missy was inside the like, car. She pulled up. I kissed my like wife. I said hi to the whole family. Missy sits in the middle. So you know how the middle of your car it has that like gap, plus that the little storage box. We have this like bed slash like safety thing for her that sits in that middle because she's so small. She's a very small chihuahua, right? So she just fits there. It's really safe because it constrains her down, and we have the like the harness on her. So if it ever happens like a car crash, she won't go flying and like hurt herself. But the moment that I showed up, right, she instantly just like popped everything open, and she just like she climbed over my wife to like kiss me. Missy climbed over my like wife to like kiss me, and I was like, "Ah, come here, Missy." Cats over dogs, people who make animals into like a war thing, into like a battle. The truth is, you're getting love either way. So does it really matter? No. The truth is, you're just looking for trouble. Mods, ban that person for being a dog hater. Only dogs here. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was nice to see them. It was so funny to see her like crawl over my like wife though. She was so excited. She like because she's small, right? So she can climb on us, and it doesn't hurt us. So she just climbed over my like wife out the window, and she was just like licking my like face. I was like, "Oh, come here, baby," because she's also there. So Missy and like her are like there at my mother-in-law's place. So I'm alone. I'm alone. That's why we're playing this game today, because I'm alone. My wife will be watching later as well, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it's gonna be good. Cause all the trouble. Cause all the trouble. She was so adorable. It was so funny to see her like crawl over my like wife. It was just because she was just so excited. And the problem too, right, is that humans are not very stable walking places. Like we're very amorphous blobs. So she's like slipping down my wife's body, but she wants to come over to me because she hasn't seen me in like a day, and she's like, "I want to kiss you, Dad. I'm here. Take me home, please." I'm like, "No, sorry, sweetheart. You have to stay with the family. Bye." So yeah, you have all of this. We have to do this all by 5 months. Okay, it's gonna be rough, but we have time this month to get a lot of this stuff done, so it should be fine. We're gonna do a lot more longer streams. Today will be a very long stream, probably. The videos I don't mind, taking time on just because it doesn't really matter. Well, they matter in the sense of like what I want to do, and actually this is important for the next segment. Why? I never check views, right? However, I reply to comments because I care about comments because I like interaction, but I also like to get rid of people who shouldn't be here. Okay. I didn't realize this. The Warframe video. You know when we played Warframe? Yeah, that video got like 1,000 views, and I don't know why. It's a very boring video about me like just going over Warframe and how it has that weird like because again Warframe is a great game. It just has the MMO problem of there's 11 years of stuff, and if you're a new player, it's so confusing. Even as a returning player who's done most of the stuff, I don't know what to do beyond this to get to the really, 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 really cool endgame stuff. Which is like, the Railjack stuff and like, what's the point of doing all this? However, 1999 brought me back because it seems to be a solely, like an entirely separate story scenario, which like looks fun, right? So, but the thing that I'm getting at is that people in that chat are insane. Like inside the comments, they're wild. So this one, I always love these because I know it's bad to assume the worst in people, but that's only in reality. In real life, you should always assume. Sorry. That's only in real life. Online, you should always assume the worst about people, because online, the cost to be an asshole is zero. In real life, the cost to be an asshole is that they punch you in the face, right? That's a very, very high cost to be an asshole. So most people will not come at you with very asshole intentions. Online, unfortunately, statistically, is more likely to encounter an asshole than not an asshole, right? It's why I'm very, very like mean and like callous to like people online, and like why I like to troll people, because I really want to suss out who they are first, right? So this is a fairly fine comment, but I found this one funny, right? A, I don't I always wonder about the unsolicited advice to change how I stream and how I talk, because none of that really matters. Since it's like, if I wasn't enunciating well, there wouldn't have been 4,000 people, 1,400 people watching that video, right? And there also wouldn't have been comments from people responding to what I said. So clearly I was talking well enough for people to understand. Two, how can you possibly give me advice when you spell like this? What happened to you is like, at least try your best to be the better person if you're gonna try to talk down to someone and try to give advice. So instead, all I said was no, because I don't really care about that advice. But also, I was like, also think slower and type better. They got really mad after. They got really, really mad. Kind of mean stick IMO. No, it's not mean. You think it's mean because of the context I'm saying it in, right? If I reverse this, if I did this, and I didn't say also, so if I did this, here, I'm going to show you why it's not mean. Comment 2. It's very important for you to understand why this matters here. You only think it's mean because of this. Give me a moment. I need to do some very complex cropping here. Some very complex cropping. You should stop streaming so much programming. Sorry, wait. Let me get this. Okay, so here. If you think what I said was mean, by definition, what they said was also mean. Right? Because I just said what they said in different words. And then if you reverse it so that they responded the way that I responded, you would be like, okay, that person is like justified. The problem is that, and this is the thing that I do a lot in these comments, you'll see me do it very often. If you go through my VODs and I respond to people, I will always, you'll see me just throw back what they did to me, but back to them. And you'll always see them get mad at it. This one commenter actually got really mad at me saying this, despite the fact that when you simply add the compliment at the end of what I said, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing as what they said. You think that person just isn't very good at English and they enjoy the video, but just threw their thought. It's not about being good at English. I think you're focusing too much on focusing too much on the phrasing. You're focusing too much on trying to make sense of the phrasing, and you're trying to make sense of the word choice, and you're trying to make sense of the spelling. Like, you're focusing too much on the English itself versus the way that they came about in what they said in terms of their intent, or at least their perceived intent based on their action. Think of it not as a problem of phrasing. They could have used better words. They could have absolutely spelled enunciate a lot better. But what I'm trying to get at is that what I'm saying is just as meaningless as what they say, right? It's a thing that is just a mistake, but it's like, why even bother pointing? Like, why even bother pointing it out so crassly? If you're gonna point it out, at least add more substance to it too. The only reason that they commented was to say that, right? It's very, very sort of like quick, sudden. It's unsolicited, it's sudden. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. You ignore the whole context of what you're watching, which is an hour-long VOD, just to say that. It's like, does it really matter? The words don't change that. The words don't change, the action, which has this implied intent. And I can only really judge the action because, again, we judge ourselves by our intentions. We judge them by our actions. This is what I mean by, like, don't focus on the words. Focus on the phrase. Focus on not the structure. What's that? It's not phrasing either. It's like focus on the way that they approach this comments, right? It's not bad. I just pointed this out to be like, no, I'm not going to take your advice because I don't really want your advice. But thank you. But I'm also not going to say thank you because it's also not wanted. They just gave me advice for no reason. But also, I just threw this back at them, and all of a sudden, you might say it's rude, but the truth is, it's not. It's the same thing that they said. It's the exact same type of conversational thing that has different words to it. Because again, if they're not very good at English, but I said the same thing, but I'm good at English, does that change the meaning of it all of a sudden? No. Your argument is flawed because you believe that it's a language thing, that it's like a spelling thing. It's not a spelling thing. It's not a language thing. It's not the choice. It's not the choice of words or whatever. I mean, it could be a choice of words if they said "fuck you" or like something, right? But in this case, it's like it's none. It's none of that. It's the way that they approach the conversation, and they decide to come at it in like a I'm gonna give unsolicited advice, going at it kind of way. And again, I'm not doing this to be rude. I'm doing this to throw it back at them because I find it funny that people do this, because I know for sure people don't know this. They like the content, dude. That's a fan. No. You are in the mindset that any viewer is a good viewer. I have banned many, many viewers. Do you know why? You do not want just anybody going into your chat. Again, this is the thing here. You don't want just anybody going into your chat. You want somebody who has at least some level of conversational skill, who's going to be able to like survive in this scenario, right? Who understands that there's a place and time for certain things versus others. The problem with being online, again, you're taking this from the perspective of somebody who's coming to the live streams and having a conversation like we are. They are not like you. They're completely different. They put this one comment, they never watch a video ever again. They only watched it because it's Warframe. This video statistically is an outlier compared to all of my other videos. Which means statistically this viewer is an outlier compared to all of my other viewers. Which means statistically they're not you. They're not like you coming here to have a conversation. They're not a fan. They just enjoy this one particular type of content, right? Again, you're also putting a strange level of intent onto me. You say that I'm being rude, and you say that I'm and like you're arguing as if I'm in the wrong. But what's the difference between what I did and what they did? I'm just trolling them around just to see how they react to it, because it's kind of weird to come into any like imagine your first interaction with someone as a conversation is like, you should really, think about brushing your teeth more and doing your hair more. But other than that, you look great. That's the first thing that they say to you. In a normal human conversation, you would be like, "Thanks, dude," and just walk away, because it's like, okay, like that, why did they say something, right? The whole unsolicited advice equal bad isn't a common mindset. He thinks he's being helpful. You're judging them. Okay, so again, you're still on this wrong track. You're judging them by their intent and not their action. Judge them by their action, because you keep believing that people online have a good intent. You have to recognize it's a whole different realm that you're thinking about here. That advice only works in reality in real life because there's consequences to being an asshole. Online, the chance of this person being statistically an asshole is higher than like not. But also, again, think about this. You're also going at this the wrong way. I'm not saying that unsolicited advice is bad. I'm saying that whatever he said was fine. Whatever he said was fine. I'm just saying that, hey, like, no, I don't want this advice. All I said was no. And then I said the same thing that he said because it was funny to me. Again, is it not funny that he told me to enunciate my words better and like talk better when he can't even spell? That's funny to me. This is the thing, right? You're coming at me for doing this when you should also be going for them for doing the exact same thing, right? And I'm talking to only this specific viewer, this one chatter right here, right now in chat, who's telling me that I'm the problem and not them, when I'm just doing the same thing that they're doing. I wanted to point this out because it's funny. I wanted to point this out because it's funny that I did the same thing that they did, but they got mad at me when I just did the same thing that they did. And I found it funny because they can't spell, but they're telling me to speak better, whatever that means, right? This is what I mean by like, you're going at this the wrong way. You've already gone topsy-turvy. You come into this with the mindset that I'm rude, therefore I'm wrong. And then never, like, not even realizing. Do you even recall that the sentence that you're seeing on screen isn't from me, that my sentence stops here, that they added the rest of this, do you even remember that? I don't think you do. So I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that you're going down a rabbit hole that doesn't even matter. You brought this rabbit hole up, and now you're trying to argue for some rabbit hole that wasn't even my intent in the first place. Nor was this the result. Well, it's the result of my action. But my God, is it funny when somebody says, "Hey, speak better," and then they can't spell enunciate because it's funny? Am I feeding into bad comments by calling this out? I am. But I love these kinds of comments because it's so funny to me when I get them. Right? I love feeding into them because they're harmless to feed into. It's not the same as somebody saying like "fuck you," "get the fuck off stage." I mean, that's like fine too. It's not as harmless. It's not as harmful as like responding to somebody who posts like a racist comment about something, right? Let's just say that. That's a whole different ball game. And I usually I have to remove those if I see them, but I haven't seen them. So if I do see them, I remove them. Usually the system handles it, right? I feed into these ones because they're not necessarily bad comments. They're just funny to me because it's like, okay, well, thank you for your advice. I don't really particularly care for your advice, but thank you. But also, it's funny to me that he says you have to speak better, but then he misspells enunciate. It's just funny to me because again, it's that weird high horse situation of like, okay, well, I mean, I appreciate the advice, but you also have to take it on your own too. It's just a weird like, you know what I mean? It's like irony. It's just like irony when you look at it as like a whole like sentence structure. Again, that one chatter that's like going after this, they really do think that I'm trying to be rude, but it's like no, this is just funny to me. You know, you mentioned it because you remember tuning in once and you said that you enjoy some sort of disagreement with the chat. No, I enjoy disagreements when they're based on something that's actually like good. If I'm wrong about something, you're free to say that. But what I'm saying is the same as what you're saying. You're making a disagreement out of nothing when I'm 100% in the same ballpark as you. It's like two different people saying the same thing but using different words and not realizing that they're talking about the same thing. I'm trying to tell you right now that you're talking about the same thing that I'm talking about. You're just assigning a level of like I don't know, malice to what I'm saying. You're assigning a level of malice to what I'm doing when that's not at all why I wanted to point this out. It's why I'm calling you out. It's why I'm calling you specifically out. Well, I'm not looking for artificial disagreement. I'm looking for a meaningful discussion because of a disagreement, because I'm not getting the facts or like something, right? Or because there's a difference in opinion and I should hear these other opinions, right? But what I'm saying is that yes, this comment wasn't bad, right? You can see it in different lights in terms of like unsolicited advice is like bad and stuff. What I really wanted to point out though was the fact that again, what I started with was this person can't spell enunciate, and then they're telling me to speak better. I found that so fucking funny, and other chatters got it because they laughed at it, and like, well, not laughed at it, but the other chatters immediately pointing out that they couldn't spell the word enunciate, and that's funny to me. It's just the irony of it, right? I don't mind a good disagreement if it's about something that's meaningful, but you're going down this rabbit hole and you're making this whole thing up in your head to almost make an argument for no reason. And I'm telling you right now, like you gotta stop that because that doesn't make any sense. I'm being very patient with you. Realistically, if you were just some random person who like came in and like said like, "Hey, you're making this up," I would just ban you because like, okay, listen, obviously you don't have the mental wherewithal to like talk about this, right? Whether for whatever reason, right? And I can't judge that because they're like a new viewer. I don't want to deal with that because they're like a new viewer. What's the point, right? But with you, I know that you can think through this. I just think you're too far into this one point without realizing that, like, hey, like, that's not why I'm doing this. I'm just doing this because it's funny that what they did was they told me that I should speak better, which is fine. And I said no because I don't want to do it. And then I was like, wait, but you also have to think slower because I'm speaking faster because I think really fast. And also you have to type better as well because you can't type very well. You wonder who it was. No, this is all of you. I actually said that before the thing with you too. Also, one of you said, yeah, don't worry about the whole you saying, I know when you're joking, chat. I know when you're joking, right? You will still proceed me to bully me for saying woman and woman the same. It's the same pronunciation. Woman, women. Woman, woman. Singular woman, plural woman. It's the same pronunciation. But yeah, I know when you chat are like joking, right? But online comments, I just take them at face value because I find them so funny if you take them at face value. Unless it's the same commenter that I see over and like over, then I'm like, okay, I can see the like history and I know what they're getting at. There's actually a few commenters on my YouTube videos who are like the same comments as over and over and over, and I'll have like the same dialogue with them over and like over and like over. Not like the same dialogue, but I'll have the same level of like conversation as I would have here in like a live chat, right? But and like when you make fun of me, it's like totally fine, right? But I'm like, okay, like, but there's just some things that I have to put the hammer down because I don't want to spread that. Okay, this is okay. This is another thing, right? It's why I'm being so harsh on you right now, is because if I'm not being so heavy on you right now to dissuade you from this thinking, to make you realize that it's actually like just a funny, ironic thing that has happened, you're gonna get down this rabbit hole, and other people who are going to see this chat are gonna believe that I'm being an asshole when they've missed the entire context. It's very important for you to realize this. It's very important for our conversations not to take this sort of light here, because we have the space to be conversational with each other in a live chat that we wouldn't necessarily have within a comment box. Again, YouTube comments have a very different flow from live chat, okay? Whatever you're talking about doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's also very important to recognize that what you're talking about only really applies to real life conversations and live chat, because they're both very conversational long-term efforts when you're an active participant in both conversations, right? Yeah, my comment wasn't bad at all. It's just funny because it's ironic. It's like, no, because I don't want the advice. Again, you just think it's bad because it's like crass and like very, very like straightforward, right? But what they said was also very, very crass and straightforward too. Basically, whatever things that you feel like about my response being crass, straightforward, and like very, very short and very, very bad, it applies to them too. But I'm not saying that the comment is a bad. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's so fucking funny that they told me to talk better when they couldn't spell the word enunciate. I found that to be so fucking funny. And then when I replied this as like a joke of like, listen, the irony here, this is steeped in like irony, right? They got so mad at me. They were like, well, okay, I guess this is how you talk to your viewers. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't see the irony? This is so fucking funny to me. It's also like an innocent mistake too. But it's like, you gotta be like real. Like, you have to be real with yourself, right? If you're gonna say anything and put yourself out there and put yourself on this like soapbox of like, I'm gonna tell this person what to do, right? Whether you mean it from a good point or a bad point, you're just gonna have to deal with the response. It's like, I don't really know what to say about this other than it's fucking funny. You just looked at your suck up close. What? What suck? What suck? You never know. Maybe they're a commentator IRL. Like they come to my house and they talk to me. Listen, if my male person ever shows up to me, right? If my male person ever shows up to me and they say, hey, I recognize you from your videos, and they start talking to me about it, I'm going to call the police. I don't want to deal with any commenters online. Oh, a cotton sock. Pretty impressive how they're made. Listen, you can't get me off the train. No matter what you do, chat, you can't pull me off this like train, okay? I'm going to run a train on you, chat. When you do stuff like this, I'm going to run a train on you because it's funny as fuck. But I'm also going to run a train on you if you misconstrue my intentions, because I don't want you to misconstrue my intentions and then go down this rabbit hole and then build this narrative up that I'm the asshole when all I've done is the exact same thing that they've done. Like, this is just for the sake of irony. It's not to make fun of him. I just did the same thing that he did. And if you're mad at me, you should be mad at him too. But clearly you're not, which means that your argument is flawed in some way. I'm just saying, Chad. It feels very simple to me to see, but I don't know. You're both the asshole. That's what I mean, though. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's what I mean. Like, you should be applying it the same way. I comment like this because I find it so funny. I comment like this because I realize that it's so funny that it's ironic the way that it is. I think that you think that I'm much madder than I am. No. I don't care about your intent. I can only judge you by your actions. You're judging yourself. Again, what did I say at the beginning of this? We can only judge each other by our actions. When you keep typing these things and you keep arguing for this thing, I can only assume that you really believe this, because I don't have the context of what's going on in your head. It's clear communication. If you can't communicate to me that you don't care about this and that if you don't want to type a whole paragraph, that's fine. But also, don't be surprised when I misconstrue what you say too, right? Like, it's just gonna happen. I'm just here to clear up some like vagaries of what we're talking about here. I find this funny. I find it ironic and like funny that we had this situation. And it's true that we're both the asshole. That's why I'm saying that I did the exact same thing that they did to me. It's why it's so funny because this is just pure irony to me. And I love comments like this because they always react the same way. They always react it. If you do the same thing that they're doing, they all of a sudden get they get like mad at you, which I always find funny. It's that level of unself-aware person that I find to be so strange. In reality, right? You would think that people would be more self-aware to realize that both of these sentences are the same. But some people don't have the social skills. It's not even a matter of language mastery. It's just social skills. Which again, it's hard to teach these because social skills is a whole different thing. But if you believe that I'm like basically if they thought that what I said was like annoying and like, bothersome, they should have realized that what they said was the same feeling, right? I don't feel that way, but it's just funny to point out the irony of pointing out someone's mistake, right? It's like when you make a mistake yourself. It's like fuck, what's that thing? It's like those old Tumblr posts or something where somebody is like trying to be like the smartass and is trying to explain like, okay, like this is the right way to do it, but the whole thesis is like wrong, and it's like, all right, like you completely missed the point. It's like the whole piss on the poor thing, right? It's like the whole piss on the poor thing. I use Tumblr, yes and no. I use it mainly for the top tier memes. Like the piss on the poor thing was hilarious, or oh my god, the color theory. This is a great example. This is a great example of what I'm talking about here. Chat, do you know the color theory thing? This is legendary. The only place I can find it now is on Reddit, but it's a very legendary thread because it perfectly demonstrates what this scenario is. Our local children's hospital got recently redecorated, but I'm not too sure they really thought things out, right? And it's just red blood. Literally any color would have been a better choice. And then somebody goes on this entire like post image of like, no, but like red has really good meanings, guys. Red can mean strength, leadership, love, positivity, right? And then it's like, wait, but sorry, it can mean a lot of things, but it looks like somebody dragged a body across the floor. And then somebody else, a different person, goes on an entire like lesson. They go, okay, but I know color theory because I'm in like art, which isn't bad. I'm just saying that like it sounds like somebody who like isn't aware of like the context of the design. They're missing the forest for the trees, right? And so they go down this like color theory, and then they say the associations with like love and like lust. And it's like, and everybody points out like it doesn't matter what you say about the color. It looks like somebody dragged a body through the floors. This is the same thing that just happened in that one image. It's the same thing. It's why it's so funny to me. This may be too high level, right? It may be too high level of like an irony thing to like look at as like a whole scenario. But I love seeing these situations play out. It's the exact same thing as this one image. I'll post it inside chat. I highly recommend you all look at this because my god, it's such a good representation of like, well, what happens when you get lost and you don't see the forest for the trees. You're so focused on this one element, like, oh yeah, but like red has its meanings, right? Like red has its meaning. It's about love and like passion. And it's like, yeah, but the context didn't call for it. Like my brother in Christ, it just looks like a body was like dragged. Someone died. 2 people died, and they're trying to hide the bodies, right? You also didn't know that he replied being all anger and shit. And that's whack from. That's why it was funny. But I also mentioned that at the start before you went down your whole thing, right? So, well, yeah, I really love this. But yeah, I usually am an asshole in those comments online. I will absolutely own up to the fact that I'm an asshole in those comments because I find them so funny. There's other comments too, actually. Here, there's other comments where it's like, okay, like you missed the point of the whole video, like this one. What the fuck is this Thai guy talking about? Maybe get more mods, dude. Which, to be fair, it's a 1 hour video. It's a 1 hour 40-minute video, right? But these people especially make me laugh because it's like, dude, like if you're not gonna watch the whole thing to understand the point of what I'm saying, you might as well not even click on it, and you might as well not even reply. It's like that's not what I'm talking about in this game. Like what I'm talking about is that the like game is a completely different like. The thing about the game is that it's a very confusing experience for new players, and the mods just increase your stat boost, and how there's 4 different types of games in it, and I wish that they made different games, and why I'm excited for like Soulframe. And this guy's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Maybe some more mods, dude. It's like, you might as well just have not commented, man. I don't know what to do. These ones, I just make a joke about it. Because I was like, okay, he missed the point, right? So I was like, did the sunglasses make it hard to see anything on the screen? I only give as much as I get, right? If somebody gives me like a very insightful comment that's like, very clear about things, I'm like, oh shit, thank you. I will farm that. Where if someone's like explaining what the anniversary stuff is, I will be like, oh god, wait. So Sag, I'm not as cool as I thought I was then. Right? Or if somebody like goes on like a whole like discussion about the game's design and how they think, why I feel this way and like what I'm missing, I'll like be like, yeah, okay, I get that, right? And we'll have a conversation about it across multiple comments. And that's fine. Like I give as much as I get. It's just funny that sometimes some people like can't take what they give. That's all I'm pointing out. Like the rest of the comments are very fine and we have a good conversation about it. It's just when you point out these like something like this, people get really mad about it. And it's like, dude, like you don't see what you're doing, man. I don't know. It seems very clear to me. Me when I'm bleeding out from the car crash, you think how powerful I look from the blood pouring from my car. That's the color theory. Wait, I need to get rid of the censor bar. That's the power of color theory, right? The power of color theory is that even if you're bleeding out from a car crash, even if you've been stabbed, let's say, and you've lost something, the tablet. I feel like I'm surrounded by my nieces and my nephews. You know, my niece, it's like, she looks so bored in the car, and my nephew, he looks so bored. He was like, help us. Like, I could tell from his eyes. He was like, please help us. This is so boring. I wanted to kidnap them. I was like, look, kids, okay, I want to kidnap the whole family and like bring them in to let them play like VR or something, right? But they had to leave to some other event. So it was like, well, because again, the whole point was to try to get them out of the house for like summer. Because again, my niece is like 8. She plays gorilla tag with strangers and like talks to them. My nephew plays FIFA 24/7, and it's really fun. But my brother believes that that's bad on the sub, which I kind of agree. Right? It's important to get them exposed to new experiences before they get locked in. But my God, for 2 weeks straight, I'm like, listen, we can't handle that as adults. Like I stay inside 24/7. All right. I think they deserve a break to play with some toys sometimes. All right. So, but my wife and I are just victims to the whims of people who gave birth to these kids. So we can't say no, it's their kids. And we also can't say no because of, old ancient, family traditions and like hierarchy and like power struggles. So we can't do anything. Fuck FIFA. I actually agree. So what's funny is that he really likes FIFA because he really likes the soccer game. And I know that phase because I was also in that same phase. I wanted to get him a tennis game because I think he'll really enjoy this tennis game too. But he's really into FIFA at the moment, and I get it. Because I've played Winning 11-8 International. That shit was so fucking fun on the PS2. And it was just a soccer game. And I played that thing for like hours. Like hours! It was so fun. And what I did was I would slide tackle every single player on the opposing. My goal was to make them lose more players than and I did. And you would always get a good rate. It was actually more effective and more efficient to break someone's legs that play soccer, okay? I'm not kidding you. It was more efficient to break the enemy team's legs than play soccer because you could go at a ratio of 1-2. You would lose one player to fouling, red cards, but they would lose 2 players due to broken legs to be slide tackling them at a specific angle. Oh man, and that's the reason why I love that game because at some point you could get down to a stupid number. Like you only have like 7 people on like field, or like 4 or something. Like you can go as low as you want, really, and the whole game breaks at that point. Like nothing really works. It's so funny to me. Anyways, if any sports team wants to sign me, I'm totally available to play some sports. Hey, let me know. Hey, if you're a soccer team, if you need a striker, somebody to strike someone down, let me know. I'm your guy. I'm willing to strike someone down. Cut the music. We're moving on, chat. As fun as this was, and as fun as it was to have that conversation about you, with like all of you, it's time to move on. Before we do, though, we need to play a song. Okay. So also, if any of you here, this is okay. So wait, before I go on, this is the new sub alert. I think it's here. And how do you do alerts? Where's the alerts? Sorry, give me a second. Get viewer rewards. I'm trying to find. God, their UI sucks. The UI like actually sucks. Oh God, Twitch's like dashboard thing sucks. Visit the manage alerts. Here we go. If you ever sub Again, if don't sub because I make six figures. There's no need for you to, right? And again, to reiterate, I do this for fun. It has to be fun for me to want to do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this, right? I'm only doing this for a fun. So you don't need to give me money. Give money to the other streamers who like raid me, right? Heb is one of them. Hebasaurus, she raids me often. Mr. Kanungus last time, as well as Athol, right? Grumpy Mega Knight. Be sure to give them the sub in said. I only do this for like fun. It's why I'm very careful about doing things that I find fun, and why I will never play like an MMO or something. But if you do sub, you get this. Wait, wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong one. Sorry. God, I hate this. Like here, this one. This is the one that I want to show you. Okay, stop. Okay, get off the screen. This is the one that I want. This is it. That's the sub alert. Shang Abby is gonna copyright strike me down, but my god, is it so good. Look, when you sub, that's what you get. If I ever get large enough and we get a bunch of those, this channel will absolutely be copyright struck down. B, it's so funny because everybody gets a carrot, right? Everybody gets a carrot. What hole can you crawl into? You don't want to be associated with this anymore. I get it. I get it. But my god, just imagine like a string of this, okay? Just imagine a string of this, chat. Like dozens of these, okay? Just like constantly carrots. It's gonna be so funny. And I don't know why he like does this. You know what's funny? He's most well known for this. It's one of those big ones. It's not as good as the small ones. No, what do you mean? Those all like the baby carrots? Okay, no. I agree. I thought you meant like those carrots, but the thin, like, you know, meatless versions. Baby carrots, though, I agree, are a whole different thing. I think they're a lot better. But if you had to go for like a whole carrot to like chew on, I would go for a Bugs Bunny, you know, massive, girthy, lengthy one, right? That guy, by the way, is well known not for that. I don't know why this one misspelled his like, name, but sure. Oh god. He's not well known for that. He's well known for this. Sorry. Again, this is why there's too many windows for me to like do things well. He's well known for this. I think most of you have like seen, probably. That's all he does. He does the same thing. Every single video. He does the same dance move every single. It's the same song every time. It's a Vietnamese song. I don't know why. For some reason, Vietnamese songs are very popular on like TikTok as like a meme song. I don't know why the Vietnamese have taken over. There's a monopoly on TikTok, right? There's a monopoly on TikTok for meme songs. We Vietnamese people have taken over TikTok in terms of the meme song category. It's between this and the Nokia Arabic theme, which if you've never heard is a classic, and you'll recognize it as soon as I play it. You like to cut them in the sticks. Okay, true. If you cut them in the sticks, then you can dip them into like sauces. Then it's good. Normally the big ones are not as sweet. I do agree that they're not as sweet, but I enjoy the crunch and like the volume. There's something about it. You have the Chinese side where it's the Shinsui, the Shinsui song. I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. It's all the same. Again, Asian TikTok is a whole different like level of like TikTok. I swear to God. Asian TikTok, there's a whole meta to it, all right? You only have like one of those two songs. The Shin Sui song, or whatever song I just played, which isn't this. Anyways, watermelon or honey melon? What's honey melon? Honeydew? Okay, honeydew. I know watermelon's good, but honeydew, I'm addicted to that. It's like crack to me. My sister used to feed me exclusively honeydew, and I don't know why. She always wanted to like feed me it. I never understood why, too. Oh, sorry. I had to remove links from chat because of the whole bot issue. If you send links, send it inside of Discord. Catch me next time. No worries. Thank you so much for showing up, Heb. Again, please do give a follow to Heb. They also stream as well, and they show up very, very often. And they always raid me. I feel bad for not being able to raid my UK viewers because the timing is just very, very off. So yeah, just follow them if you can and like sub them and stuff. But yeah, if you want to post links, please post it within Discord now because I had to remove it because the bots, there was just too many bots. Anyways, we're going to move on now. I have a song to play for you all. That's not this one, but I want to play it just one more time because I found this song very, very funny. You've heard Cantaloupe is better than Honey Melon. Wait, really? Now I kind of want to try Cantaloupe. Huh. No, I tried Cantaloupe. Never mind. I looked up an image of it, and I don't ever want. I think Cantaloupe is a more mid. You like Cantaloupe if you want a very specific flavor. You like Honeydew when you want sugar that's in the form of like a fruit, right? That's ideally what you go for. So I will say I think Honeydew is better. But if you maybe I've only ever had bad Cantaloupe. Maybe I've only ever had bad Cantaloupe. We're gonna move on before I get stuck in this like very, very long segment of us doing this, okay? I'm gonna move on before we get stuck here going over these meme videos because as fun as these meme videos are, at some point we're going to get copyright struck. Just like I am gonna be for playing this song. So before we play our dating game, the song that I thought that you all would enjoy. This song is a very good song. I'm sure that you all know. So, oops, wait. Pin the song. It's a classic song, actually. It's by, not a classic song. What I'm saying is that this is a very popular song. They got popular for, I don't really know why, but this one particular group got extremely popular out of nowhere, it feels like. All of a sudden, everyone that I knew about them. It's New Jeans. But however, I will say that I can sort of point to some things that made them very popular. I'm just surprised that they worked so well. They had a very mysterious sort of like debut intro series of videos that told a story in like fragmented bits. It was a very interesting, very, very artistic way of showing their debut. It was a very fascinating way of doing it too, because the way that it was done was kind of like those. It felt a lot like Marble Hornets, but for K-pop. It was very weird. It was a very strange way of editing it, but it felt like somebody was telling a story through the visual elements and the audio elements of a video alone that didn't just rely on like a narration thing, where the story was the entire thing. It felt like an art house film. It was a very interesting approach to it. And then they released a lot of their songs, and this song in particular got really popular to the point where everyone knows about it. If you don't know about it, don't worry. You're going to know now. This song is a very well-known song by the group New Jeans. It's a song called Super Shy. I need to make sure the volume's good. Give me a moment. And please enjoy the song, because I think this song is actually kind of a banger. Thank you, chat, for letting me know about this. What the fuck is this? What do you mean? 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 You only know the song because of PUBG. Turns out they had a collaboration. Imagine you're playing PUBG, right? It's not even like Fortnite. This is the craziest thing. It's not even Fortnite. You play PUBG, you drop down, it's a shooting game. You're killing people, right? You're killing people in like an armor mod, in an Armor 3 mod or something. You're just blasting people out, and there's a truck for you to listen to Super Shy by New Jeans. There's a whole zone for them. If in the future, because the story of PUBG is fascinating. PUBG has an entire storyline where it's like, post-apocalyptic scenario, and they're doing it as like a war game for the rich or something. It's tied to some other larger game that has a much deeper story as well. If we get to that point, and like New Jeans is still alive, they would absolutely do this. I could see K-pop groups doing this. I could see like JYP in his like mecha with his brain in like a jar going, build the New Jeans theme park in the middle of the battleground, and everyone's jamming out. But the moment that you leave this 1 pixel radius, guns open, guns are hot. You were so confused. I mean, I can imagine you were being confused. Yeah, because it's like, this is a very weird. There's no intersection. There is no intersection between these two things. Like, it's like, what the fuck? It's them. It's actually them. It's like how Ariana Grande is like fighting Goku in Fortnite, right? At this point, it's expected for you not to know these people. But PUBG has always seemed, at least to me, to bill itself as like staying away from that Not to say that they don't have funny skins, but rather they have skins that at least fit what their players like. I don't know how many K-pop people play PUBG. I feel like most K-pop people play Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like Fortnite is like the K-pop girly game, right? The girly pop game. If that makes sense. If you know like if you know what the aesthetic is, then you know what the aesthetic is, right? I'm a girly pop, right? It makes sense. As you've seen from my socks. But I'm just saying that this has no. However, it is a great way to introduce people. So you're also thinking about who paid who. PUBG. Okay, if you ever think about who pays who, the game pays the person. Nobody pays the games. Chat. The games are the games are really underground. Okay, this one New Jeans song was so popular. The music video, I'm not kidding you, has 200 million views. 200 million PUBG all-time lifetime players. Where is the all-time players? PUBG. Oh, Fortnite, my peak player count. Sorry, my voice is cracking. At its peak, probably all-time, only had like 4 million players. Potentially. Compared to, Super Shy and like and like K-pop, right? You're confused because you've never heard about them, nor have your friends. So, this is the thing, right? Popularity is not all encompassing. Popularity is a relative term. There are 6 billion or 7 billion people in the world now. 200 million is still a drop in the bucket. Relative to, however, it's a hell of a lot more popular than like PUBG. So, whenever you think about games, realize that games are like way more underground. Not even Genshin Impact has had this much level of like, worldwide renown as a single K-pop group. Think about that. As a single K-pop group, an industry that's dominated by dozens of such groups. Dozens of them. Fortnite? Okay, maybe Fortnite. You think views are counted every time you listen to a song though? Well, they are. But even then, think of how many songs are really popular that you've listened to, that you hear all the time, that don't even have a fraction of 200 million views. Chat, even the most popular songs today that are on like the top 10 hit, please, please, please. Please, please, please. I'm sure all of you have heard this song by Sabrina Carpenter. 31 million views compared to 200 million views on YouTube. That doesn't count Spotify. I'm just counting it on purely YouTube. So presumably there's a similar amount of people who like watch across both. Even if you go by that logic, other popular songs don't even get to that level. This is, again, popularity is relative. And even if you count it the same way, all songs are counted the same way. So it's almost like a moot point. They're surprisingly huge when you consider everything. So they 100% were paid by the game. Especially when you consider that games are still a niche. Again, Genshin Impact still hasn't reached that. Fortnite, though, maybe. I think maybe Fortnite has reached that level of, like, global popularity just because it has so many different skins and so many different, like, pop culture ties. I think it has broken the barrier in terms of household name. Same with Minecraft. Those two, I think, are the only two that can really match. In which case, people would pay the game to get into it. But aside from those, every other game relative to those is a drop in the bucket. 200 million of anything is hard to imagine. Very hard to imagine. Especially for a K-pop group. But it makes sense when you think about the whole K-pop thing. Because again, it's a well-known strategy. It's the Korean wave strategy. It's actually a well-documented phenomenon that the government is like putting money behind to like do. They're very good at this. The music industry in Korea, by the way, is so mature that artists from other regions go to Korea to have their career. New Jeans, for instance, these are their members. I feel weird Googling them because they're way younger than all of us, actually. Well, I hope that they're way younger than all of us. For instance, most of them are 19. I think when this song came out, they had just turned 18 or something. When they debuted, they were all like 16. But Hanny in this group is Vietnamese Australian. So she moved all the way to Korea to go into the K-pop industry in order to get a chance within the music industry because both Vietnam and Australia have no music industry. We have a music industry that's very, very like locked down. That's very much about like, what you do within in Vietnam. No joke, it's music censorship. If your music doesn't Your music has to be approved by the cultural committee to be released. I'm not even kidding you. Whereas in Australia, it's just kind of out of nowhere. For some reason they have no industry, and I don't know why, but I've heard that it's just very hard to like push things from there. And so she had to go all the way to Korea. Hell, even Blackpink, Lala Lisa, is that her like name? Lala Lisa, or is it Lisa? She's Thai. She had to go all the way to Korea to make a career in like singing. It's because Australia doesn't exist. Wait, listen, how many Australian viewers do I have? How many Australian viewers do I have? You just pissed off the many Australian viewers. They're like the zero of them. The zero of them. Oh man, cultural committee. How strict are they? If you talk bad about the government, you go to jail. I'm not kidding you. Chat. There's a here. Journalistic freedom index. Of course none, because it doesn't exist. Because it doesn't exist. This is the World Press Freedom Index. So it's Reporters Without Borders since 2009 have based the organization's own assessment, on like different things. Okay, it's what reporters have determined by some metric to be like where are you safest to have freedom of speech. Norway's at the very top. Canada is like middling. USA is like lower than Canada. Guess where Vietnam is? Yeah, we're 3 steps above North Korea. Which you think is a lot of steps but then you consider this encompasses every country in the world, and the point difference between Vietnam and North Korea is 70 points, 0.7 points. By the way, China is better than us by 1 point, by 1 whole point. So we're zero point 0.7 points above North Korea, which everybody knows is a very bad place for freedom, and China is 1 point above us, but that makes them 2 spaces above us. So don't look at the relative placements. Even if you just look at the points alone, we're not doing too hot when compared to North Korea. If you can be compared to North Korea, you're not doing too hot. It's pretty bad, Chad. It's pretty bad. Where's Finland? I think you're also at the very top, actually. So Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Netherlands, Finland, that whole area is at the very top. Estonia, Portugal, Germany, Vietnam is at the bottom over here. So again, yeah, like if you talk bad about the government, you will go to jail. There have been many times where people have tried to make songs that are critical of the government, which like you could make songs here. Like here, look. Do you remember this? Run the Jewels. What was the song again? I'm gonna play it a bit just for you to see it with the music video. You can make a song like that in America, and you won't be fine. Like nothing will happen. And this is a very tame song when you think about what it's talking about. It doesn't actually go super hard against the government, right? If you make a song like this in Vietnam, somebody's gonna come talk to you. Same with Rage Against the Machine. Okay, if somebody makes a song like what's the song again? What the fuck did they tell you? Was it Rage Against the Machine? Killing in the Name of. If you made a song like Killing in the Name of, they would absolutely go to your place and shut you down, and you will absolutely go to jail. At least this like weird scenario where like people self-censor way too much, and you get songs that are very, very milquetoast about like certain topics. It's not bad because sometimes not everyone wants to make songs that are very critical about something, right? But there is a certain sense of like, yeah, what it causes is a music industry that's very particular. It's a music industry that bends in a particular way that also doesn't have many like much monetary backing to it, because the country itself is still trying to climb up as like, well, not to say that it's a poor country, but it's poorer than Korea, right? Like if you've ever seen South Korea versus like Vietnam, one is a lot poorer than the other. Okay, so again, there's a whole bunch of factors to it, but this is one of those factors that really matters too, in terms of like you can't just publish every song that you want. You have to be careful of what you say, which is fine for most people. But sometimes, you want a Kendrick Lamar to rise up from the ashes of a nation to, speak about things. But you can't have that. You can't have that in like Vietnam. So we'll never get that. You have to go to Korea for it. Winland. Good old Finland, Winland. Anyways, thank you for listening to that beautiful musical education. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm terrified to learn about this, but also I'm so curious how much this pumped up their numbers. Because honestly, I don't think Fortnite has a new Jeans skin, and I think they're missing out. However, If Fortnite then comes out with a Blackpink skin, I think they win by default. Not saying that one group is better than the other. I just know more people that know Blackpink than New Jeans. So I'm just saying. Give me a moment to set things up, and we'll start the game. Before we continue, smash the Shin Sway song. Listen to it. If you've ever seen like Asian TikToks, then you've heard this. Like Chinese TikToks. But also, I've seen some Vietnamese. Again, Asian TikTok has a whole meta. The reason why that song reminds you of Hong Kong '97 chat is because it's built in the Asian music system. It's because it's an Asian song. And that song definitely used some notes about it. But yeah, this song is crazy. If you've never heard the story of Hong Kong '97, don't. It's very, very cursed. But I want you to listen to it anyways. Okay, I'm not playing this anymore. It's gonna make me go crazy. We're gonna move on to the game now. Sorry. What's it called again? Super Scout. There's only 3 followers for this game. Kind of feels like it. Yeah, it just kind of feels like it. I don't know. Like it's not really supposed to deprecate OpenGL, but at the same time, it kind of feels like it like has. But I am also not aware of like what the long term plan is, so I'm not really sure either way to say like 100%. That's just what it feels like from like an end developer perspective of like, okay, what do I focus on in terms of supporting long term? Obviously, you still need to support all 3, like DirectX, Vulkan, OpenGL. Metal is dead in the water, like on the macOS side. So I mean, it's whatever. But tomorrow, the visual novels, not the dating game again. Kind of tired of it. I want to play some more. Until then, we need to finish games. I don't know how tomorrow's gonna go. I may do a split. I think 4 hours for Until Then, and 2 to 3 hours for the stream management console development will be good. I'm going to build out the plans for it tonight. That way, we know what we're building, and there's no delay. Sorry, I'm so gassy. And there's no delay between us sort of starting it, going on stream, and then working on it, right? You've noticed so far, my programming projects have been, we check out a cool thing. We don't really get time to go into it fully, because I usually go into it with no plan other than a high-level overview of what I want. This time, I want to go into these existing. I want to go into these projects with much more focus in terms of like what I want to have as an MVP, and enough research into how to do it that we won't have any problems necessarily. And I just recap the research for you because the research is very much just me reading documentation and thinking through various solutions, right? And then from there, we can have like a dialogue together. You can be a part of the development if you really want to. I don't want you to be because if you have day jobs, you don't want to think. That's like fine, right? Like I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if you want to, then sure, right? And we'll see how it goes from there. And then we can adjust plans if we want to fit new ideas in, but that's not like not a hard requirement. So it's what I'm trying to say. Tomorrow, same time start, the usual 5 p.m. UTC. You always know the schedule. We yap for like, I don't know, 20 minutes to 30 minutes, an hour or 2. You would think if you could. I feel you, chat. I feel you. Deep down, I feel you. Yeah. You know what it is? I never blame people for not being able to think about things. I just recognize that, like, well, I do sometimes. I do most of the time. I'm actually, okay, I'm not a perfect human being, all right? As you can probably tell. I'm just as flawed as you are, but I love being able to show you the flaws because it immediately kills any feeling of parasocialism. It makes you realize that you don't want to know me, which is good. That's a good sign. But it's so hard to think when you spend your entire day thinking. Like we all we do is we think, right? Not to say that you run out of energy to think, but rather to say that you don't want to do it anymore because you want to do something else more fun for just a moment. Or you want to, you know what I mean? Like your brain probably is craving some level of variety that is the result of some underlying, biochemical mechanism, like dopamine or something. Whatever the current research is, I don't know. But the reality of it is that it gets more complicated. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. So yeah, just know that, yeah, it's hard. And I understand why it's hard. It makes sense. You just kind of like your brain just only has so much room for like very specific types of thinking. It's why I'm hoping that if I do most of the thinking for you guys, or if not all of it, you get to just see the process and or you get to step in for the creative stuff. So, because there's a lot of low level plumbing, right? Like you're seeing right now, what you saw was the low level plumbing of development, which is knowing what the abstractions are, what the platform is, what it does, what available methods are available for you to do specific things like file system access, packaging to be a separate, executable, networking, input handling, stuff like that, right? This is the low level stuff that you need to learn that takes a lot of thinking, that isn't very fun, that's more tedious work, that simply allows you to start and not even to finish. It's in the way of you starting. It's not necessary for you to finish, though. It's just a thing that you need to know before you can even step into the ring. My goal is if I can get rid of most, if not all of those tedious moments, those like heavy thought moments, those like foundational questions, we can then move on to the more creative aspects of it, which is the business decisions and how to translate those into custom code, right? Because there's a business decisions side where it's like, okay, I say business code like business logic, but it's more about like what it does for your specific goal versus what you need to do from a technical level. So it's like, okay, how do we solve this problem of a stream management console that like does X, Y, Z? Well, I know what the API is. I know at a minimum what we need to do for the call. I know at a minimum what we need for the OAuth server. And from there, it's just, okay, how do we want to handle the way that it works? What's the flow for this? How would it look like? How would it feel like from the perspective of a me? How do we reconcile the freeform list on YouTube with the more static game list from sourced from IGDB on the Twitch, for instance, for like game categories, right? Then we get into interesting problem solving of like, well, I think we would do it like this or like that. That's the more fun business logic side. That's more of a puzzle game than the foundational like plumbing, which is like you go to school for however many hours to learn what these foundational topics are, which is very, very boring, if necessary, but boring, right? So that's the goal with these future programming projects. So if you see the way that it's done before, you notice a stark difference in that we can jump right into the development aspect of it immediately versus sitting around waiting, trying to figure out, okay, how do we do things? And what's the best way to do things? Versus we know all the options and the trade-offs and the pros and the cons, and I can recall them immediately. And thus you can just think about how you would like to see this done as a community. And then we can just work on it together, if it makes sense. Hopefully that's more fun as a programming segment. It's an experimental way of doing it. Because I think a lot of programming material is so focused on the tedious plumbing. Especially the stuff that you see tutorialized, right? It's very focused on the plumbing aspect, which is important. But I think the most important part is sparking that joy of fun, which is why I find something like, say, Scratch so interesting. Because in Scratch, there's no plumbing that you need to know. You can just start moving the cat immediately, and that's fun. And that's what I want to get to. I want to get to the point where we can just move the cat, and I've done all the plumbing, and the streams themselves are more about the business logic and solving the puzzle of the problem at hand versus how do we do the thing at all from a technical sense. So yeah, I get about the thinking if you could. If you could, then you would, but you're tired and life is hard and you got things to do. So hopefully these programming segments get a lot better. I'm out of here. Bye, everyone. Again, go get Sandbox. Go to Sandbox, like the site. Download it if you want to play around with it. I think you should. I think they're cooking something very interesting. And then it's like nice to sort of see what the game jam will end up being like as well. And maybe if we do well, we can make some money. Then I can justify the fact that I'm streaming to my finances. Who knows? Maybe that's how we do our things, or we do bug finding and game modding live. I don't really know. We'll let's see. It's not that you can't think after the thing the whole day. It's just that you can't think in general. Don't worry. That's also so relatable, king or queen. I can only think like this because I can't stop thinking. I'm just saying it's not a skill issue. It's a built different issue. Everyone goes about it a different way. Okay, you'll get over it, especially as you get more practice with it. It's one of those muscles that you need to flex in your brain. In a weird way, just as you would flex your muscles by working out physically, you also need to flex the gray matter in your brain to really get a handle on how it works. And you do. You just kind of like downplay the ways that you flex it, because everyone flexes it in like a different way. So don't be too like harsh on yourself if you can't think. I mean, artists flex their like visual like portions of their brain in ways that I feel like I can't. Right? I do it in like a logic sense. They do it in like a visual sense. And to them, like my stuff looks like a masterpiece, but their stuff to me looks like a masterpiece. So, who like it's just different things, right? So I'm just saying that you probably downplay yourself in terms of how you think. You probably think a lot more than you think that you do. It's just about stuff that you don't feel like is very valuable, but the truth is, it maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not your therapist. You're joking, Mr. Therapist. Oh, okay, bye.